President Trump's personal attorney, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, a friend also, is leading the investigations into voter fraud and ballot counting. Mr. Mayor, let's talk a little bit about what you have. I saw recently there's some sworn affidavits from what states. What are you looking at? Are you on to more than one state, and what do you think you have here?
Well, now we have filed in 2 states, and they're all supported by sworn affidavits and somewhere around 100 witnesses. The states of Pennsylvania and the state of Michigan. Similar, and then a couple of different allegations. The similar allegation is that Republicans were excluded, sometimes by force, from the process of counting the absentee and mail order ballots, even though both states require that before the ballot is counted and before the certifying data is eliminated, both parties have to observe it to make sure that there aren't problems. That was violated at least 625,000 times in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh, and it was violated over 300,000 times in Detroit.
So the question is, and the question that the left keeps pushing back on, and not even the left anymore. Fox News is doing the same thing. They're saying the media is saying you don't have enough to overturn any states. What do you say to them?
It's sad. It really is. I mean, we tried to produce last night for Fox a woman who was there working for an independent employer, nothing to gain or lose, who watched 100,000 ballots brought in the middle of the night in Detroit. They appeared to be fraudulent ballots because they were brought in paper bags and cardboard boxes and not the usual receptacle for ballots. She was told that the ballots were brought up in cars with out-of-state license plates, and she heard people saying, "We got to catch up. We got to catch up. He'll be too far ahead in the morning." And then she hung around and listened, and they were all Biden ballots. She got a chance to observe some of them. Biden was the only name on the ballot. She's all ready to go on Fox last night.
Who is this?
She's under oath, sworn, and they wouldn't put her on.
Who is she, Mr. Mayor? I mean,
she's an employee of one of the companies that was doing the IT work. She's not the only one. In Detroit, we have a Democratic worker who got so disgusted with the cheating that was going on that she turned state's evidence, gave us an affidavit saying that since September 22nd, the party has been teaching her and training her on how to cheat, which included when people want help going into the polling place with them and showing them how to vote for Biden and Harris. If they turn in a mail order ballot or absentee ballot that isn't properly filled out, don't worry about it, just put it in anyway. If they're not registered to vote, go to the book and register them.
So I agree with you. There are a lot of voter irregularities. There are a lot of issues with ballots.
That's not irregularity. That's fraud.
All right. Well, so let me ask you this. You're a prosecutor. You're a former federal prosecutor. You're a lawyer. How do you think this will play out and should play out, and are they different?
Yeah, the only place they're gonna play out are in the federal courts. About the only honest place we have left. And the federal courts are going to be shocked by what they hear. The evidence is explosive. It includes whistleblowers and people who have turned completely against the organizations, including the Democrat Party, that were cheating. And what you're going to see in both Michigan and in Philadelphia is a common pattern that only had to be directed by the Democrat Party when you consider it was repeated in 8 other states. There are 10 states in which Democrats were ordered to exclude Republicans from the mail order ballot count. And it's interesting where they selected doing it. They selected doing it in the crooked Democratic cities.
Okay, sir. So here, how does it go down? So you have all these examples. You have sworn affidavits. You petition the state, the courts. I assume the Supreme Court within the state. Oh, you go to the federals. Okay, so you go to the feds, and now you're hoping it gets to the Supreme Court. Now, the Supreme Court in Pennsylvania, our U.S. Supreme Court already ruled that those ballots were going to be valid once. Are you hoping that they take it up again?
They haven't ruled they'll be valid. They ruled that mail order ballots are valid if conducted in accordance with the rules of the state legislature. The rules of the state legislature say each ballot has to be examined. No ballots were examined. So they completely violated the rules of the state legislature and the Supreme Court's ruling. The Supreme Court didn't say any mail order ballot can be counted. It said mail order. We challenged the whole idea of mail order because it's our contention that it's inherently, like it was Justice Souter's, that it's inherently fraudulent. I think after this election, we're going to find out that it is inherently fraudulent. But in any event, Supreme Court ruled mail order ballots are okay, fine, as long as they're approved by the state legislature and the state legislature sets reasonable rules for them. Well, the legislatures in Pennsylvania and Michigan set rules. The key to the rule was Republican and the Democrat get to examine it in over 600,000 occasions in Pennsylvania and well over 300,000 occasions in Michigan. Republicans were completely excluded, in some cases physically removed, so they couldn't observe a single thing about the ballot. And then some independent observers, like people who work for software companies, observed massive counting of ballots with no concern about the envelope, just trying to get the ballots in as quickly as possible. And when they were able to see the ballots had only one name on it, Biden, not even downstate, even down ballot Democrats. That's evidence of fraud that overturns an election.
We did see a massive move from Trump to Biden after the voting closed, in-person voting closed, and the left will tell you that generally they vote massively by mail, and that's the reason for it.
And what they failed to tell you is that the exit polls showed that in those two states, Philadelphia and Michigan, Republicans were outvoting Democrats in early voting.
All right. I'm going to leave it there. Rudy Giuliani, former mayor, also heading the fight for the Trump organization to overturn this couple of states and looking for that. Looking for that magic 270.
We're going to go on to 8 more states. 8 more.
Wow. Okay. We'll have you back again, sir. Thank you for your time.